I'm fading in, and I'm with my friends Matt Ufford and Russ Frushtick
Hey guys.
from Polygon, senior editor, because we're going to talk about video games today on the Halfy Hour.
This is synergy, corporate synergy.
Synergy.
Bringing minds together.
It's what we do. We bring hearts together. We
do.
bring minds together, and if we do it right, genitals.
In the digital marketplace, I believe is
The
what it's called.
digital marketplace.
Yeah.
If you had all of those terms.
Strat.
Bingo. We are here today, and we've been tweeting this out to talk about the best video games of the 1990s, the best sports video games, because we do like to concentrate. We get away from sports a little bit, but we do like to talk about the sports.
We do. It is our profession.
And as all three of us, how old are you, Russ?
29.
He's 29. So we're all in the same generation,
He was in
I
the
feel
pocket.
like. Right.
I went to both high school and college almost entirely in the 90s.
All in the 90s.
Class
so,
of 96, class of 2000.
So you really do span that the heart of your important years is right there with video games. So we've been debating it internally. We've been trying to figure out the best games, the games that I don't know how much you go back and play them ever. I don't know, Russ, if you go back and we'll just see
from
how
time to
well
time.
games hold up.
Some of them better than others.
Right.
Throwback Thursday include Atari games.
Oh, well, I never had an Atari.
No, me neither.
I'm a little bit older than you
That's
guys.
it. That's the difference. We
Yeah.
found the line.
Yeah, there's the line.
Also, that's my mom worked at grew up in the military, and my mom worked at the base thrift shop.
Okay.
So I never really had when everybody had it, the Nintendo, I had the Atari. I was like a solid generation behind.
Okay.
Yeah, that GameCube's really cool, right?
Yeah.
Matt's been getting pretty into Virtua Fighter, and it's pretty cool. No, but we do have a lot of fond memories growing up around that time around sports games, because not just because video games are fun, but a big percentage of social interactions were holding controllers, sitting on couches, yelling at each other. So I guess my first question to you before we go into our favorite games, I guess the first question is, it's a weekly show. What has been your favorite thing of this week?
Well, it's obviously sports and video games related, but I gotta say, Des getting her heart crushed on The Bachelorette.
Oh,
The best moment of reality television of the last 10 years.
People have stopped watching this show now, but who cares?
No. I was also watching at home by myself. Wife is gone. Didn't even. And
I'm not married, and I was watching.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She got blowed up.
That was rough. And her finalists, not the greatest collection of minds.
No,
Not
not so
that
much.
we are ourselves, but it was watching somebody cry in HD with the camera right here.
It was an evisceration.
I mean, Brooks was like the guy that clearly was not that into her as much as everybody else was.
Right.
Drew, I think, might be gay.
Maybe.
Might is a very weak word.
Yeah, I don't want to make accusations.
Sure.
Right. To you, your opinion is it seems that
Yeah.
sure.
No, there was a guy that was really good at throwing a baseball. He was really into her.
Right. Right.
I don't know. That's what I was rooting for.
And then there's Chris, the poetry.
Oh,
the
he's a
poet.
dynamite poet. He really brings the fire.
That's a good best thing of this week. Matt, what has been your best thing of this week?
I've had my wife's been in Kansas all week for this conference for teaching, and so
Right.
I've been on bachelor mode, and it's less about hey, my wife's away, and more about a performance art piece called "How Fast Can This Apartment Get Ants?"
Really?
But I'd say so. I've been doing the things that my wife is not into. It's not been single Matt at all. It's just been I'm gonna watch action movies on Netflix. I'm gonna go over to my friend's place and play Settlers of Catan.
Wow.
'Cause she's not into that. And so it's been the lamest possible week. But
Right.
I enjoyed my time to
It
myself.
was Matt Freedom Week.
some Matt time.
No ants, though.
No ants actually.
Oh, okay. That's
I'm a
good.
little bit clean.
You're growing.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair. My favorite thing of this week, I don't know what my favorite thing of this week was. I should have been prepared. I had you guys both prepare something. My favorite thing of this week was going to the grocery store. I went to Trader Joe's in Brooklyn, and there was a woman in there who was really attractive. That's the whole
Wow,
thing.
dynamite.
That's the whole
There you
thing.
go.
It's been a real slow week.
Did you also pay too much for chips?
No,
Maybe?
I did not. I got 3 boxes of almond milk.
Okay.
And they were all delightful.
Yeah.
No, I haven't had them all yet. I got almond milk. I got turkey sausage.
Yeah.
I got broccoli.
That's pretty good, right?
Single Dan
yeah,
continues.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Pretty exciting week from everybody.
Pretty exciting, you
we
guys.
just killed anybody listening to talk about sports video
Yeah,
games.
they're not. Let's get into sports video games. So to get this and to really paint a picture, who did you play video games with, if anybody?
Probably my brother.
Your brother,
He was 3
okay.
years older than me, and friends would come over and play. I was a big NES first and then Super Nintendo.
Right.
So definitely in that era, I played a lot of video games.
Okay. Now, were you a temperamental type of gamer?
I think I'm pretty level-headed.
You were level-headed.
I'm not a controller thrower or anything like that.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll hit people, but not like super hard.
To throw them off?
No. Like when I'm frustrated, I'll just hit them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. And Matt, you grew up with a sister.
I did.
Not to say that girls can't play sports video games, but I'm going to make an assumption here.
No.
So who did you end up playing the majority of your friends?
So, and of course, I never had like the good console, so I'd have to go over to friends' houses. And I'm gonna state straight out.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a gamer.
Okay.
I would go over and like watch kids play video games.
Okay.
That's pretty lame.
Did
Right.
they know you were watching them?
Yeah. It wasn't like through the window or anything like that.
He was the kid with the binoculars. Like, oh, they seem like they're having fun.
So I wasn't too much like through high school. I didn't really play that much in the way of video games. College changed things.
Okay, where did you go?
I went to Northwestern.
No, I mean like direction-wise with video games.
Oh,
what did you play?
So my two biggest jams and still my favorite games, Madden 97 on the Sega Genesis.
Okay, if we do have footage of the alarmingly realistic graphics of Madden
Yeah.
97.
Oh,
there
my
it is.
gosh.
Look at
There's-
those Steelers.
I just want the ambulance to come out.
That was a nice touch because
Yeah.
it's realistic. Because anytime anybody gets hurt, an ambulance comes on
And
the field.
I always, because you always got the first name's initial plus the last name, and like as we just saw in that place, it was D. Ross. We'd be like, oh, Diana Ross with the kickoff return.
That's comedy, Russ.
That's good. That's bringing the fire.
That's how funny
Yeah.
I was at age 18.
Wow.
So it was Madden 97 on the Sega Genesis.
Yes.
Okay.
And NBA Live 95 on
It's
the
a
Super
good
Nintendo.
one.
I
It-
love that game.
Yeah.
Did you
NBA
not-
Live never did it for me.
Really?
I don't think there's ever been, so this is me showing my preference, but I don't think I've ever really enjoyed a basketball sim.
Right.
Like they all felt like too slow.
it was that weird angle.
Yeah.
They play at the
weird,
angle.
like,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I
like
got you.
isometric, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we'll talk about it later, but NBA
Right.
Jam was a big one for me. But the basketball sims, I don't know. Didn't
It's-
do it for me.
Here's my problem. I was always worse. I didn't grow up with a Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis, so I would always go over to my friend Andy's house. And Andy had his own Super Nintendo, his own copy of NBA Live 95, and he got really good. Like, I had never played it, and he was already throwing alley-oops. And he liked trash talking. And so I don't know if you remember the player Eric Montross.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
So anytime Eric Montross, then a Celtic from, I want to say North Carolina.
No idea. Yes.
Anytime he threw down a dunk on an alley-oop, I got monstrosity, monstrosity, and he really liked how punny he was being.
That's good.
See, what I liked about it is you could play, because I'm also pretty bad at video games, and so I'd play with my roommate, Andy. You've met him.
Sure.
Also Andy. We got a lot of Andys
A lot of
in the
Andy
show.
connection, yeah.
And we would play as teammates. So we'd first we'd
That's
play
tough.
First we but
Against who? As the
Against the
AI?
computer.
Against the computer, yeah.
And what was fun about this is that first we would just destroy it with like the best teams, like Gary Payton and Sean Kemp.
Right.
And then once we got to a place where we were beating the AI like 166 to 18, which was just so much fun because we just like
Of course.
like Gary Payton would steal the ball every single time, run a fast break, alley oop. It was a lot of fun for us.
Right.
And then we'd start playing with the lousier teams.
Sure.
Challenge
And
yourself.
they're just like, yeah, because we up the game, and it was for us like instead of going head to head and competing because Andy would have destroyed me.
Right.
It was us working together.
Nice. Bringing
Building-
people together.
Teamwork.
Who are you, the
Yeah.
Mavericks, I guess?
After that we went down to the Cavs, and Mark Price
Oh,
was
yeah.
was a
Brad
god. 'cause
Doherty,
he-
yeah.
because he was like Gary Payton in that he stole the ball every time, but then he'd hit every single 3-pointer he took. And then we did the Kings. We
Oh,
would
yeah.
dominate with the Kings as well.
Wow. Okay. Is that Bibby time?
Oh gosh.
No, it was
I'm-
before then.
It was
gonna have to look it
pre-Bibby? All right.
I-
It was Bad Kings. So you're talking about like light blue Kings.
1995.
In any case.
yeah,
While
anyway.
while Matt looks that up, I would never play on the same team as anybody because I'm too competitive.
It doesn't seem right. Maybe for NBA Jam,
Oh,
if you're
we
playing
made-
4-on-4 or 2-on-2
Right.
rather.
we
Right.
made Olden Paulinus look good.
Okay,
yeah.
very
Yes.
good. Good
Yeah.
Olden Polonies reference. Okay, so the sports games that you really gravitated towards, what are your luminary Hall
Sure.
of Fame games?
Well,
of your
I already
childhood?
mentioned NBA Jam.
NBA Jam.
Big one.
Okay, that was huge. It started in the arcade, and then
Yeah,
made its way to
right,
consoles.
Exactly. The
Okay.
arcade version was fantastic.
Unbelievable.
It had like codes that like spread like through the school network of rumor and speculation. And it was just like easy to pick up, super fun. Dick Vitale, like everything came together for NBA Jam.
This
and
is
just,
true.
It was just like could not be stopped. I remember I had a friend who had the arcade in his basement, the
No.
stand-up 4-person arcade in
How
his
did he
basement.
have that in his basement?
He also had like a platinum toilet. He was
A jet ski.
Was
He
your
was doing
friend
all right.
Fred Savage from The Wizard?
He was the real Fred Savage, actually.
Okay, he was Blank Check. He was
Yes.
the kid from Blank
He was
Check.
the kid from Black Jack.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Okay.
And that game could not be stopped. I just remember like unlocking
Mm-hmm.
people and man.
I
Do
do.
you unlock Bill Clinton?
Yeah.
Bill Clinton was great.
Absolutely.
Hillary
Bill
Clinton,
Hillary Clinton.
the Beastie Boys. He was talking before we started. NBA Jam, and I'll let you tell the story.
Sure.
He discovered a pop culture like legend through the video game. He had no idea who he was before.
No idea who George Clinton was until I played NBA Jam, and
You
I
were-
didn't know several years afterwards.
you were
I
a
just
little
thought
young.
he was this crazy guy with crazy hair that
Oh,
was
the
in NBA
NBA Jam guy can get
Right.
funky. Okay,
Right.
cool.
Oh wait, he has a massive discography. Oh, okay.
Weird coincidence.
Also, not just an NBA Jam, also a musician.
yeah.
How do you know?
I will say I feel like there are camps of people that either you kind of align with NBA Jam and NFL Blitz, these sort of like arcade versions of a sport,
Right.
or you align more with like Madden and NBA Live, which are a little bit more realistic portrayals
Right.
of that. And I'm more of
As
like,
you saw in that Madden 97 footage.
yes,
Super realistic.
so realistic. But it's not like,
Right, it's the
first
11 on 11,
first and
yeah.
25, you have 2 downs to score
Correct.
a touchdown.
And you're not literally decapitating people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I got really also into, and this was also a product of going to my friend Andy's house, the NHL series.
Sure.
So you had like NHL 94, NHL 95. NHL 94 is the one that's most remembered. And I think they just brought back like a retro version of that into the new iteration of the game.
Yeah, I don't know.
think.
I haven't played a new NHL
Right.
game in years, but
And you shouldn't, because you should play with the 94 Vancouver Canucks.
Of course.
With Pavel Bure and Trevor Linden and all of those fun people. That was a really fun game, and the greatest thing about 94 was there was the glitch where you could just wrap around.
Yeah.
Wrap around the goal and score
the,
pretty
the
much
nonstop
every time.
could not be stopped
Right.
technique. No one thought to, maybe
It's
guard this
strange
side.
the way that people have fondness for glitches.
Yes.
In that, like NHL '94, you've got
You're like figuring out a secret.
the Lawrence Taylor glitch in Tecmo Super
Yep,
Bowl.
he was unblockable.
Or you just like lined up in the neutral zone and
Yeah.
you could sack the quarterback every time. And people are fond of that. I feel like that's something that should frustrate players.
Well, it eventually, like in competitive Tecmo Bowl, and that exists, like they
Right.
do a
Currently,
year.
yeah.
Absolutely. They do ban like certain like techniques and stuff like you're not allowed to do that. And I think they ban Bo Jackson. I don't think you can play as Bo Jackson. in
Really?
Professional. I could be wrong.
That levels the playing field.
It was obscene.
It was obscene. I played a lot of Tecmo Super Bowl. I don't know if you played any Tecmo Super Bowl. I don't know if you played any Tecmo Super Bowl.
I played it poorly, like most
You
of the
played
games.
it poorly.
Yeah.
I only would play it as the first player because I only wanted to go left to right.
Sure.
I'm none of this right to left business.
Sure.
I would play entire seasons just to watch the animations of
of
like
the cheerleaders.
the cheerleaders were great, and that's something else I want to get into. But just like the championship celebrations that you could only unlock,
Yep.
you know, there were all sorts of fun things. But that game and another game, and I know we have footage of this game. You remember Off Road?
Yes.
So it was important to me because it was in pizzerias. It was a great pizzeria game because they had the wheel. They had a 4-player wheel game.
Oh,
and
yeah, okay.
that can only happen in pizzerias.
That can only
no
happen
other
in
fast food
pizzerias.
place can have that.
There
Absolutely
we
not.
go.
You serve hamburgers? No. See, it's a great 4-player game. And look at the
Oh,
women.
yeah.
The
Wow.
women there. So that's the women in off road.
Yeah.
The cheerleaders in
Is that
Tecmo Super
is that
Bowl.
8-bit or 16-bit?
I want to say 8.
That looks like
I think this is NES.
8.
Yeah, this is
yeah,
8.
that's NES.
So in sports games, it was pretty important when you're talking about cheerleaders, when you're talking about like the trophy girls. That's intersecting. I'm 10 years old. I'm 11 years old. It's a pretty great time to be having sports and like they're wearing bathing suits.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is also coming from the guy whose highlight of the week was seeing an attractive lady at a grocery store.
She was really attractive.
That's fair.
I need to do more things. In any case, it was a nice unintentional element of these games
Oh,
that
there
I
we
feel
go,
like
yeah.
should be discussed. So this was off road, and that turned into
Yeah, there was a
super
nicer
off-road.
version of it. Maybe Super
I think it
Off-Road
was
is the one I'm
SNES.
thinking of.
Yes, but that was a
Because
great
that
game.
that is raw right there.
Yeah.
That is not pretty.
No, that's a real video game, Russ.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar. In any case, yeah, the NHL. I also the thing I liked about the NHL series was especially 94, 95, they needed to make the puck visible. It's hard
Yep.
to follow a puck around.
Yep.
But when you compare the puck to the size of the players, it was like the size of
enormous.
like a DiGiorno. Yeah, it was an enormous puck that made no sense why it was so large.
Which is why that was so much better than actually watching hockey.
true.
Hey, laser targeting.
Yep.
Come on, that was the era of the laser targeting in hockey
right.
on Fox.
The glowing
Whatever they
puck.
called that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fun.
People loved that.
And then there was a game, and Russ mentioned this to me before we started. He wanted to make sure we touched on, and you mentioned you hadn't played this. Baseball Simulator 1000.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Baseball Simulator 1000 was a baseball game, and baseball, and we've talked about this a lot, it's a boring sport.
Yeah, and I hate baseball sims probably more than any other simulation of any sport.
That's fair point, because it's a slower game, and you can see the footage on the screen of Baseball Simulator 1000.
That's not baseball simulator. That's
RBI
RBI
baseball.
baseball.
That's RBI baseball. Okay, so this is an example of why baseball sims.
I mean, RBI baseball was fun, but it was like it's very
dry. It's
dry, and you're doing the same thing over and over again.
Here's what problem I had with almost every early baseball game is that like the ability to steer pitches once you throw them.
Oh yeah,
You're just like steer it away from
it's
the
away,
bat.
and then the last second curve it in.
Yeah.
That's how it works in real life. Though. That's how R.A. Dickey did so well. He was just like,
He had a joystick on the
Exactly.
mound. He had a D-pad.
That makes sense.
The D, R-A-D key is for D-pad.
Exactly.
Anyway, so then Baseball Simulator 1000 comes around, and you said you didn't play this game, or were not super familiar.
There was some game in the late '90s, I think, on the SNES that we played in my fraternity. That like,
Okay.
But I was never curious enough to actually, look at what it was
this was
actually.
Get
not
involved.
because this came out early in the '90s,
Right.
and yeah, it was kind of awesome because instead of just being boring RBI baseball, whatever, you had magic.
Yes.
You could
did.
cast magic on your pitches, and like
This
you
is
could
true.
throw like a multi-ball and like 10 balls.
So
would
like
fly.
if you played this game like shit-faced drunk, what each ball would look like. You'd be seeing 3 balls, and you didn't know which
Wow.
one to swing at.
Yeah.
They would have a pitcher that would turn into like a whirlwind tornado and throw the ball.
Yep.
There were literal cannon for arms.
See, ordinarily, I do prefer like more realistic portrayals of
No,
sport.
that's realistic. Yeah.
But I think baseball needs this.
Yes.
Baseball
It
needs
really does.
needs the spice.
And it pulled off the game in a really fun way.
Yeah.
And I played a lot of Baseball Simulator 1000. Also, and we don't have the clip of this game. Did you ever play Little League Baseball, the video game for NES? It was very weird because there would be it was pretty realistic actually. You have the tall thin kid,
Sure.
the short fat kid, and then like the tiny kid.
Oh,
and
so
that
it was like
it.
that hockey game.
It was like Mario Hockey or Ice Hockey.
yeah,
Yes.
ice
okay.
hockey. Yeah,
It was like that, but they tried to be very racially accurate, which became a little bit
I don't
uncomfortable.
like where this is going.
Yeah, so like
So,
the
like, the
Hawaiian
athletic-
kids would look different
Oh,
from like the
man.
Chinese kids
Oh,
and the
boy.
Jamaican.
It wasn't like a skill set thing though.
No, but I learned about humans. It's,
Okay.
it's the lesson I
Good.
took away from that
That's
game. So it just I'm trying to think of the other games we haven't hit yet, but NBA Jam, of course. Tecmo Super Bowl, of course.
Sure.
The baseball games are drier. I did like RBI Baseball.
Yeah.
That's
Although that was Nintendo first came out in '88, so not quite the '90s, but
Okay.
I think later versions, maybe
there were a bunch
RBI
of them.
Baseball 3.
There were a few of them,
Was
yeah.
it was '90 maybe.
Here's the nerdiest thing I think I can tell about any sports video game that I was involved in. Unfortunately, it was 2001, but it involves a game from the 90s. My friends at USC would play tournaments of RBI Baseball 3. They would sit around a dorm room and just like bullshit and have fun playing RBI Baseball 3. I was like, fine, whatever. That's like a freshman dorm,
And
like
so they were playing like what year was this that you were talking
freshman year.
about? Well,
Oh, 2001.
yes, thank you.
Okay,
So they
2001.
were playing a 10-year-old baseball
Yes.
game. See, because we had the Madden Bowl on my floor,
Right.
in my dorm.
That makes sense.
But we played an entire season. Everybody had their assigned team. Mm-hmm. My roommate Andy was the Bengals. He had Carl Pickens.
oh, sure.
And I was the Jaguars. I was the only team that played ball control. I had Natron Means,
Wow.
Pete Mitchell, Mark Brunell was my quarterback.
Yes,
Did a
he
lot of
was.
running with him.
Jeez.
And we did the entire 16-game season with I think we had 12 or 16 people in the league. Wow. And
a lot of
and
effort.
then we
Yeah, it
had,
is a lot of
And then
effort.
playoffs, and you had an assigned window you had to work out when to play your game that week. And we had I think 2 consoles and 2 sets of
Wow.
games. And we would it was all public. Again, no way of keeping track of this on the internet. It was all paper. And then
Right.
we held the Madden Bowl.
Wait, this is 2001. The internet
No.
definitely.
No, I was for me it was
No,
90,
he's older, yeah.
96,
Okay.
97.
Okay. Infancy.
So So yeah, there was, and then like the Madden Bowl that like actually drew a crowd on the big screen downstairs.
Wow.
We were pretty cool.
Well, listen, I'm not done with my RBI Baseball
Don't
3
be-
story.
Oh boy,
This might surprise you, but
Yeah.
Andy and I did not have girlfriends our
What?
freshman year.
that is shocking.
I figured they'd be lined up. Like, excuse me, do Matt and Andy live here? I've heard things about them. No. So the thing at the end of the story of RBI Baseball 3 is I was in LA because I was on the quarter system. So I went to Oregon later than they had enrolled in USC.
Yeah.
So I was a part of the tournament early on, was eliminated, went off to college. They took a webcam and they broadcast games of themselves playing RBI Baseball 3 online.
And you watched.
And I watched
Oh
it
my
and hit rock bottom.
Wow.
I was like, what have I done with my life? And I was 18 and dumb in realizing
Sure.
this. But that was the nerdiest thing I think
But
I've
you
done
didn't have
with-
to set up the webcam.
I
Like,
did not.
In terms of the
Somebody
level of
had to.
effort,
True.
probably that guy
I
feels a
simply
little
clicked
worse.
a link.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay. And then you had a suggestion for a game.
Yeah, you took issue with one of the games I
did.
suggested. And honestly, I took offense to it.
Right.
And I think an entire group of people would take offense to it. And those people live in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yes, they do. They compete in the Flower Cup.
Several people did suggest Mario Kart
Yes.
as,
Yeah.
as a sports game.
And let's be honest, if we're going to include Baseball Simulator 1000 with lightning pitches,
True.
why not include a game with homing shells and
True.
Yoshi?
Now, do you consider go-karting to be a sport?
Maybe.
See, here's the issue that I have.
Oh,
with
it is fun. Look
If-
at that game, though.
If we're,
I mean, if you were riding on a highway, that's a sport. Come
That's
on.
true.
if it was like say a NASCAR or F1 racing series
Or
like,
off-road.
like
Yeah.
those I can see are sports games. This is a little bit far removed. This is like saying, well, fighting's a sport, so Mortal Kombat is a sports
Right
game.
now, I don't think that's.
It's a racing game. I don't think it's that far removed from most racing games. The only difference is there's like the combat element to it.
True.
But we're not for the combat element. Like it would
Baseball
just be-
Simulator is combatant.
I say someone text John Boyce. I feel like he's the go-to
Yeah.
for
We
is
can text
this a
John.
sport
John can weigh in
video
on
game?
this.
Is okay. That's fair. Yeah, I go back and forth. I had a lot of good times with Mario Kart. Where did Mario Kart? It was originally an SNES game,
SNES was first.
and then made its way to
N64,
GameCube, and now was there Wii, and now is there
soon to
one
be
for Wii U? Okay.
It was one of the like pretty much every platform since the Super Nintendo has had one.
See, I'm under the impression that the N64 one was where that game peaked.
Yeah, the N64 one's really, really good.
Right.
I think people get a little crazy about it. I honestly don't think the game has changed very much since the N64 one.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. I feel like if you liked one of them, you're going to like all of them.
Okay.
It's not like Madden where like the gameplay has dramatically changed
True.
since those early days.
Okay.
What is the game that's better to play in front of a crowd on a large screen TV? Is it Mario Kart or is it GoldenEye?
Okay, so here's the deal. I recently replayed GoldenEye. That game does not age well at all, and it's also really hard to follow if you're just watching it because it's chaos. Like you don't know
True.
when people are near each other. I don't think it's a really good like watching. I think Mario Kart is like a lot easier to watch.
You can follow it.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's correct. And everybody can get their personality match, and whoever driver they select. That's how I look at it. Who did you select in Mario Kart? Who was your guy?
I kind of like Yoshi.
I went with
Yeah,
Yoshi
a
as
lot
well.
of people pick Yoshi.
Where did
He's
you
just
go?
so likable.
I'm probably Yoshi too, with a little bit of Luigi thrown in.
That's a terrible
Yeah,
Yoshi
that
impression.
was awful.
That was really bad.
I do like the occasional Bowser though.
Bowser's fun.
Yeah, Bowser was good.
What is the lineage of the Bowser family?
Well, it's complicated.
Okay.
Because
How much time do we have?
he had a lot of kids, which we
So
met
Bowser
in Super
is
Mario 3.
He's the patriarch?
He is the patriarch, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's Bowser Jr., and some people theorize that Bowser Jr. is actually Bowser. And there's a lot. You brought up a big vein of controversy right here.
Well, then who's King Koopa?
King Koopa is Bowser. It's basically whoever's the king. So he's the president of the United States
Okay.
for the Koopas.
So the Koopas, that's the royal family,
Yeah.
and he's Bowser Koopa.
No, but Koopa is I don't think Koopa is part of his name.
Okay.
His name is Bowser.
Koopa is very derogatory, so please.
Are we
try
not supposed to
use
be
that.
saying that? Is that an FCC thing? All right, that's fair.
It's very tricky. I think there should be a true Hollywood story or something to really like
I'd
hash
like
that
to
out.
know.
I'd watch
Is
that.
there a princess lineage? Because you have Princess Peach.
Yeah, and there's also Pauline.
Which one is Pauline?
Pauline was the one in Donkey Kong, the original.
That was the one in Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
Is she related to Peach?
No relation.
It's
They
just-
both dated Mario, and it'd be weird if they were related,
It's dating is what they did.
among other things.
Okay. Among
I
other
would.
things.
Can this be a Polygon video behind the musics for?
I think it
The
should
truth.
be.
yeah,
There's a lot of
for
drama.
the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah.
Have the nice people at Nintendo like sketched this out? Is there like a Mario World Bible?
Every once in a while they try to like make sense of it, but it does not work.
Really?
Yeah, it's really tricky.
What is the best Mario-based sports game?
I mean, we're not counting Mario Kart?
Outside of Mario Kart,
Okay.
which I'm leaning towards counting.
Sure. Okay, I've got my personal favorite, and that's Mario Golf on the Game Boy Advance.
Duffed it.
Okay. Wow. What is yours?
No, that I was just.
Oh, 'cause
that's-
he
that's
says
where-
duffed it in the
That's
game.
where duffed
Correct.
it comes from.
Yeah, I don't remember that. But
Duffed it. Yeah, it was an SB Nation phrase for a bit. Duffed it.
It still is.
but
in
that
my
game
world.
was
Yeah.
that was a phenomenal golf game. It had like RPG mechanics where you level up your golfer and like improve irons and shit. Like it was fantastic.
Wow.
Mario Tennis is also very good.
Mm-hmm.
And soccer was pretty good too. But
Mario Soccer?
I think golf is probably considered the top.
When
think that's fair.
did FIFA first come into play?
Oh man,
Right, mid '90s. I want to say,
don't
maybe
know
even
for
earlier.
Sure,
Because
it might.
we kind of hold on a second.
We've left off FIFA.
Because that's a fantastic.
So
game.
that's another one that like I love playing FIFA. It's one of
Right.
the few sports games I really do enjoy because it's like plays like a game. You don't need to know a ton about it, but it's another one where it's like give me FIFA 96 or give me FIFA from last year, and it's graphics will be better, but for the most part the gameplay is like
It's pretty
pass
similar.
shoot. Like I got it.
Looks
True.
like it started in 94, 95.
Yeah, that feels like the height of EA. I mean, even though Madden has become a behemoth,
Yep.
that feels like, and it's probably just because we were like 10 years old and you were in high school and everything like that, that was like the golden age.
I feel like the video game of FIFA, the FIFA series, deserves more credit for growing the sport in America.
Really?
I do. I really think that because you have NFL players will get together and play FIFA, and I think that draws
True.
interest for the international soccer.
Now, did either one of you play Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball for the SNES? I remember that being a huge
I
hit.
think I played it on Genesis.
Okay, was that out? It was not
think.
it was not a Nintendo exclusive. Okay,
I don't think so.
Yeah, a lot of people love that game.
a lot of people love that game. The batting stances were really weird.
They were odd.
And the timing, the swing timing, you either had it or you didn't. And
Yeah.
if you didn't have the timing down, you were done.
Yeah.
You were done in that game. And I didn't play a lot of that game. I'm trying to think of the other games to me. Will, are there any other games to you in the 90s that stand out that we haven't hit yet?
Okay, so I was gonna say Punch Out, but that was an '80s game.
What, the original Punch-Out?
Well, you could say Super Punch Out if we wanted to stick to '90s.
Okay, so when did...
Although Punch Out was the
So
better.
that's Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Sure, originally yes.
Originally it was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Yep.
And then after his...
And then he sort of raped someone, and it
Sort of
stopped
raped.
being stopped
Whoops.
being Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
So then it just became Punch-Out. I think
Just Punch-Out.
he became Mr. Dream?
yeah, they changed him to Mr. Dream,
Mr. Dream.
which I believe was the original Japanese character, if I recall correctly.
Really? Okay. That
So
was when that game came out late 80s.
Yeah.
I can't... A lot of people have played boxing games since then, and there have been a number of popular boxing
George
games.
Foreman's KO boxing.
KO boxing, and then there was one within the last 5 or 6
Yeah,
years
Foxy boxing.
where you would see sort of clear gloves
yeah.
coming from the screen
Well,
to your opponent.
Fight Night was like the
Fight
big
Night,
one.
right.
Yeah.
But-
over the last couple years.
They really upped the ante with the creativity of the opponents in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
They did. There was the flamenco guy, King Hippo.
Von Kaiser,
Yeah, Von
Great
Kaiser.
Tiger, who disappeared, which is realistic boxing.
That's true.
Yeah. Also, the body types very much displayed people who were boxing.
Correct.
Most people that grow up to be boxers are people whose legs are stunted as children.
Yes.
Yep.
And royalty of foreign islands.
And 15 feet tall.
15 feet tall because Little Mac was like 2.5 feet tall
Yeah.
compared to them.
Really-
He had to
There's no
jump up to
scale.
hit their head.
There was you could have put a quarter in there just to know
Right.
how big. Because he could be normal height and they could be 50 feet tall. You don't know.
Here's another question that ties in with Mike Tyson's Punch-Out and Nintendo attempting to put together a Mario Bible. Mario's a plumber,
Yep.
as we are to understand. He moonlights as a boxing judge.
Sure.
boxing referee.
Yep.
Also is an incredible athlete.
Yep.
When it comes to all sorts of different pursuits and
virtuoso.
disciplines.
A Renaissance man, if you will.
When did he actually plumb?
He goes into pipes all the time.
He does go into pipes. But you feel like he does all these things masterfully.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Would you like to play a plumbing video game?
I don't want to see a plumbing video game, but I want to see like.
So you only see the side of Mario that's fun.
True.
You're not gonna play like Nintendo Day Job Mario.
Well,
True.
There is Dr. Mario, where he's a doctor
Yes.
giving prescriptions to people.
I don't think you want prescriptions from a plumber.
But he's
Probably
also
not.
a doctor.
He is. There is a doctor
So maybe
before
he's
his name.
moonlighting as a plumber, and
I
he's
feel
actually
like
a doctor.
I feel like he might be a quack. He might be.
I think Matt, and I don't want to speak for you out of turn. Maybe it was sort of like an honorary PhD, like
you
Bill
think?
Cosby does.
Yeah.
He makes people call him Dr. Cosby,
But he's still giving pills out.
but Mario's
That's
giving pills
not
out.
allowed.
I feel
That
like
is really frowned upon.
there is some.
FDA is going to have big
FDA is going to have a big old problem with
Can
Mario.
we also talk about how naming the opposite version of Mario Wario is one of the lazier villain turns?
It
Oh,
is-
you think that's lazy? Wait till you are introduced to Waluigi,
That
the
is- I
laziest.
just saw that. And that's the thing.
That is legitimately a thing. His name is Waluigi. He's purple.
And that's being released shortly.
Oh no, he's been around for
Oh,
quite
he
a while.
has? Waluigi has been
I think
around.
he was introduced in Mario Tennis actually. Was
And
his
he is
first game.
and he is like an evil version.
He is an evil version of Luigi. Yes,
It would have been cool if they just went with Luigi.
Luigi.
Luigi would have been good. Or do you flip the L upside down and it's just like I don't know what
It's
that
a
is.
gamma. That's a gamma.
It's a gamma.
Gamoigi.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. I like that. I don't know why. Wow, Waluigi.
Yeah.
All right. And who is the superior when you look across all Mario sports games?
Yep.
So all the characters that you're able to play with, Mario Kart, Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, who is the superior across all disciplines athlete?
Man. Well, it depends what you're looking for, right? Are you
So I'm
looking
saying,
for
like,
speed. You look just an overall. judgment?
Overall, like a decathlon of Mario athletics.
I feel like everyone gravitates towards Yoshi because he's like an all-rounder.
Right.
Um,
That's true. He does have some strength. He has
Yeah.
some speed. He has some gumption.
he's also a dinosaur. So
Also
that
a
helps.
dinosaur,
Yeah.
which is nice to have on the team, on
Yeah.
the roster.
And a cute dinosaur at that.
Yeah, he's adorable.
Right. I think it is Yoshi.
He also shits eggs, so that's pretty cool.
Well, you would expect that. I'm trying to think of any other games. Do you have any other games that stood out to you? Any other experiences with sports games?
No, man, we're good.
I really like.
Let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap this up. Let's thank very much Russ Frushtick for lending us his time and expertise
Yeah, this is
when
fun.
when it comes to all things 90s video game and Mario lineage, because I've been curious about that for a long time.
I think there might be some inbreeding there.
There is.
Maybe.
Who do we know who the princess's parents are?
Well, we should mention that there probably are way too few female characters.
Yeah, they've never introduced anybody else.
I mean, there just aren't very many female characters
That's
in
a shame.
that universe, so it's possible.
Yeah, and
that-
they're all princesses.
yeah,
True. Zelda, a princess.
princess, sure.
Has she ever been introduced in a sports game?
No, she was in Smash Brothers.
She was in Smash Brothers, so there
There's
is some
that.
athleticism.
Yeah.
At least.
I can still remember the way everybody's mind was blown when it turned out the main character in Metroid was female.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
People's heads exploded on the streets when they got Nintendo Power and figured that out.
I didn't subscribe to. Did you subscribe?
My friend Mike Losi did.
Really?
Yeah.
You stole his copy.
I just, I'd go over and watch him play video games, obviously. So, but yeah, he actually got the Nintendo Power magazine.
Is
Did
that
you
the,
have late night moments with the Samus Nintendo Power?
No.
is that the Metroid lady?
Yeah,
Samus.
That's her name. Samus.
All right.
Samus Aran.
That's fair.
yeah.
All right. Thank you again to Russ Frushtick. Thank you to Matt Ufford, as always. This has been
always here.
a really fun time talking
Yes.
about 90s video games. I'm trying to remember if I left anything out. No, the important thing
Yeah.
that if anybody should watch this, should take away, is that I really liked 8-bit ladies.
You still do.
I still do. Thank you for watching. We will see you next week.